We love that you joined our community over here on the Flip Flop Flipper, and we're so proud that we're the fastest growing real estate investor groups on the entire platform. But here's the truth. The difference from being in the free group, the Flip Flop Flipper, and coming over to Apex, we're actually doing deals there. And in the short time that we've had the community, we've done several $1 million worth of real estate transactions. And I personally know of at least 18 or 20 deals that have happened. We just finished our first ever coffee and bus tour, and out of that, I'm already in conversations with 3 or 4 different groups of people that are going to do real estate deals together. We just want to be a part of your real estate investing story. And the difference between being in the Flip Flop Flipper community and being in the Apex community, Apex is actually get done. We're doers over there. So if you want to go from being a wanna-doer to actually being a doer, click the button. Let's go. Join Apex.
Welcome.
How about that?
Hey guys.
We got a group of doers here. I know that's true because I just saw a handsome man on the internet say it. Welcome to the Thursday Night Masterclass.
This is a new format for us. We're trying out. We're going to see if it works. I am putting the stream to the green room, the link, to the green room in the chat. When you have questions, click that thing, get in the green room, and then we'll bring you on until we figure out a better solution, which is probably Zoom. But we'll get there. We'll figure this out.
Oh, so we're not doing this on. Hey there.
There's someone there. Is that person joining Apex? All right. So guys, we're going to talk a little bit for the first 30-40 minutes.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 3 paths to real estate wealth and what we are trying to identify, guys, with you, for you is, where are you at in your journey? Are you a finder? Are you an operator? Or are you somebody who's got some money in the bank and you're going to participate in a more passive way because you want to be a funder? So we're going to go through those definitions, and then I'm hopeful that by the end of this, you'll start to kind of come up with your path. Where do you think you are? And we want to identify, and you can have multiples, right? Like I'm a finder. I've been a finder my whole life. Yep. I've become an excellent operator, but I wasn't initially. I mean, when I first started out, I really wasn't very good at it. 27 years later, I've gotten pretty good at it. And when I started out 27 years ago, I damn sure was not a funder. I didn't have any money. But now I've gotten to the point where I'm at a stage in life where I have money that I can put into people's deals. I invest with McKenna, I invest with Don, and a few others. So hopefully you'll kind of be able to recognize where you're at, and we'll start to build breakout groups. And so we've talked with a couple of people to run these breakout groups on I think probably we're going to start out doing it like twice a month. And Emmanuel is going to run the finder group, and Alan Domasi is going to run the operator group. And then McKenna and Adon and I are probably going to run the funder group, at least for now. Maybe we'll find somebody else who will come in and run that so that it doesn't always have to be always us, right?
Yes.
McKenna, you got any announcements?
I'm just looking at the chat here. Some people have some questions on how it'll work. Everybody should be able to see and hear us right now. And then our plan, guys, is we're going to have our little talk. You know how it goes, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll open it up to the floor. Everybody in Apex, you're invited to come up. What we'll do is just put your questions in the chat, and then Adon's going to pull you into the stream. So be ready to be on camera.
You have to press the link I put up there.
Are we not able to just pull them into the stream, all of them at the time that we're ready to take questions?
No, we've got.
That's why I put the link in the comments there, guys. Click that link. You'll start showing up in the green rooms. Just wait there patiently, and I'll bring you up once they're done talking. So let's go now.
Let's go now.
All right, now.
And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to come and join the stream, we'll put a link to Apex. You can join Apex, and you can be on the stream tonight. And with that, that's all the announcements I have. Robert, take it away, man.
Tell us how you're going to make money. How are we going to make money?
3 ways to make money in real estate. If you just had
there's way more than 3 ways, first of all, right? Like real estate's the greatest gift, and it's the best way to build wealth. I truly believe that. I am living proof that anybody can be a real estate investor. I started with no money. I started with no education. I didn't have a community like this. And, you know, we live a pretty good life. McKenna will tell you. Adon eats well, just hanging out with me for the last few years.
It's true.
We have a pretty good life because of this real estate game. So the three ways that we want to focus on tonight, and I said it earlier, finders, operators, and funders, we're going to call them. And we're also thinking of this growing into something that's going to be even bigger. I think, McKenna, we're going to do a 3-day boot camp that'll probably be, this will probably central to that, right? Like, so we'll build a more in-depth course that we'll put in that all of you guys that are in Apex will be invited to. And we're looking at doing that probably 5 or 6 months down the road. Is that still on track, McKenna?
That's still on track.
All right. Heart run. Let's just run through some definitions. A finder. What's the definition of a finder? This is the person who brings the deal. You don't need any money. You don't need any experience. This is what I love about real estate. You can go out and find the deal of a lifetime while you've got a job that you hate and you're trying to get out of the rat race. And if that's you, that could be someone who doesn't have a ton of money, someone who's got a job they don't like, someone who is trying to decide between going to the university and getting themselves in debt to get a degree that they probably aren't going to make any money with and have a hard time ever paying off, or just becoming a real estate investor at 19 years old. That could be you, right? It could be also anyone who's on an employment path. For Adon, he became a real estate investor at a time where he had already gotten a college degree. He was out there in the real world doing real world shit for a while, but hated it. And now, look at him now. He's handsomest real estate guy on the planet.
I know.
Anybody can do this. I'm telling you.
Living proof, guys. So is Emmanuel, so is Noel, so is Joel.
The skill sets that you'll need to be a finder, you're going to have prospecting undervalued properties like tax deed, pre-foreclosures, and off-market stuff. You're going to build negotiation skills. And guys, you don't have to have all of these skills to start. You just have to kind of know where you're at and have the desire to do it, and then just actually start doing it. And so when we go further and we get into the breakout sessions over the next few weeks, that'll probably be some of the conversations that will be had. It'll be like, hey, how do I get started? And Emmanuel will be telling you, hey, I'm making 10 phone calls a day and I'm making 2 or 3 offers a day. And what are you doing this week? And that kind of stuff. So you can learn all of these skills. That's the great thing. The biggest thing that you need is the mindset to know that you believe it, that you can do it, and actually just start making the phone calls. Basic underwriting, which we talk about often, right? Like we show you on Deal Maker Tuesday how to underwrite projects, and we're going to dive in deep on that if you keep following us on Tuesday nights. So,
well, and I just want to speak real quick to people that think they might be a finder or want to be a finder. Who does that appeal to? If you're here and you don't have money, if you don't have experience, if you have made like 10 calls but you haven't really done it, you might want to start out as a finder. And let me tell you why. Because it is the fastest way to get your first deal done. And that's something we talk about a lot from week to week to week. The best deal of your life will be your first one, even if you don't make any money. And being a finder gets you on track to doing your first deal. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in Apex that they're like, I want to do real estate. I just don't know how. And they're kind of educating themselves and thinking about it. And finding, Jasmine will be a finder. I love it. They're thinking they want to get into real estate, but they don't know how. This is the quickest and easiest way. It's so simple that you think it won't work. And how simple is it? It's get a list, call the list, get a contract.
make an offer.
And make an
Get
offer.
a list, call the list, make an offer. You'll get a deal.
Yeah. And so that's the dream I just want to paint for you. Like, you can do this tomorrow. You probably can't be an investor tomorrow. I mean, I know I can't. I know that Adon can't. Robert maybe could, but it took him 27 years. So his tomorrow was, it took him 27 years to get there. There's a path, right? And this is an amazing first step. You can even be an operator tomorrow, but it is harder. And the reason I think being a finder is amazing is it's quick. It can be easy. You can get 50 grand in 60 days. I mean, those are real things that happen, right? And that's life changing. If you have been 9 to 5 your whole life, and then suddenly you get a check for $50,000 off of one deal that you found, you did the legwork on, you put it together, and then you handed it off to an operator. It's like, man, how sick is that? Anyways, Robert, back to you. Sorry for the
No, that was perfect, McKenna. That's right. And you started out as a finder, so did I.
Yep.
I think Adon maybe more started out as an operator.
I started with all of them. I found, and then I operated,
yeah.
and now
You didn't start out as a wholesaler or a finder
No.
trying to take deals to people.
No.
You jumped in and we were doing deals together.
Yes.
But and anybody could do that too. But here's one key difference. The people who are really good at finding things can continuously be looking for deal after deal after deal. If you're an operator, you have a bandwidth problem, and you're only, and we'll get into the different skill sets of the operator versus the finder, but the operator maybe can do 2 to 10 deals a year, depending on how fast you can get in and out of them and what kind of deals you're operating. Like if you're buy, fix, and sell, then you could do more than if you are running small hotels, right? If you're running small hotels, it might be like you only do one deal every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's big enough that it floats the boat, that it causes you to have the good life. For everything we want, right, is to figure out the path that each of you can take that's going to make you super profitable, and it's going to get you to the good life as quickly as possible. I think that's a good goal.
And let's move on to operators, but really quick before we usually do takeaways at the end of the masterclass. This one's a little different since we have 3 sections. What if we did takeaways for finders, takeaways for operators, takeaways for investors, action steps, takeaways, whatever you want to call them? For me, if I am hearing this and I want to be a finder and I need more information, one, start putting questions here in the chat, because we're going to pull you up for questions in just a second. And then 2, it's get a list, call the list, make offers. And then the 5th thing you can do, we are going to start a breakout group. I think it's going to be bi-weekly. It might be weekly. It's going to be led by Emmanuel, who just 60 days ago lost his job, got into this. Is there something wrong, Adon?
No. I was
on the phone. Anyways,
grumpy McKenna.
I agree
you can't
with
look
everything.
at Adon. He's always grumpy.
Adon's shaking his head at me like, that's not it. Don't do that.
I'm mad at my accountant. There's no problem here.
Damn it.
Sorry. So we're starting breakout groups where we're going to meet weekly or bi-weekly, and the whole focus of that finder group is to be, how do we do it? How do we do better? Emmanuel's volunteered to do live calls. So if you're like, man, I kind of get the idea, but I just want to see someone do it, he's going to do that there. It's going to be really cool. Any other takeaways for finders? And start putting your questions in there, and we'll pull you up when we're done with all 3.
Yeah, so I got a couple of takeaways for finders, and I think you kind of hit on most of them. But the finder can get to money quickly, so it's not going to probably be life-changing money on your first deal, but you could do a deal in the next 30 to 60 days and make 5, 10, 20, 50 grand on a flip. And once you do one, this would be my big takeaway. Once you get that first deal done, it's going to start to click for you. And then you can do it again and again and again. And then once you've built up a little bankroll, you can move into the other places. You can become an operator. You can become a funder as well. So this is just a great way to start. And guys, if you know me, you know I'm not in love with the wholesale business. I think you really become a real estate investor when you get to the second part, which we're going to call operator for today. And that would be the person who's executing. They manage the rehab, they manage the rental, they do the development, or they know what the exit strategy is going in, and they make the property go from A to Z and be profitable. That's what a good operator does. You're able to identify, maybe a finder brings you a great deal, and you buy it and you get it to the top dollar, and then you're selling it or you're renting it. Either one, you can be a successful operator that way. And here are the skill sets that you would have as an operator. You're going to be good with project management, and you're going to be good with contractor and vendor relations. And believe me, if you're an operator, you will become good with contractor and vendor relations, or you'll pull all your hair out and you'll be a very frustrated individual.
Yep.
Or maybe both.
Yes.
I think Adon was just talking to the contractor before we went live, and he kept saying, yeah. And I was like, yeah? He's like, yeah means now, MFer. All right. You're going to have that value add vision. You're going to start to jump out of bed because you're able to take the ugly duckling from the ugly duckling and turn it into something beautiful. And you're going to develop this mind's eye that you can look at something that's just a piece of junk and see it as what it's going to be. That's what a good operator does. And then you're able to see the vision and then execute on the vision. This is where I've had a ton of fun. Like we're value add real estate investors, and I love to take the ugly duckling and turn it into the best looking house on the neighborhood, or take a dilapidated, distressed building and then turn it into a beautiful guest house hotel, throw it through Act 60 and get 40% tax credits. That's what kind of gets me to jump out of bed in the morning and feel really proud about. Like we've got one right now where we're renovating a mansion that was a 4-family home that we've turned into a single family home. And I love the way it's turning out. Like every time I go there, I smile from ear to ear, even though it's taken longer and it's cost more money. We're going to get it done. We're going to sell it. We're going to make piles and piles of money on it. And if we don't, then I'm just going to live in this beautiful house that I've built, and I'll still be a happy camper. So anyways,
Just you?
maybe.
See, he already kicked everybody out.
You can live there too.
He colonized the house. No, it's too late. No, I don't want it.
Don's out, just me. Operators turn deals into dollars. They make equity real. So if you're good with systems, if you're boots on the ground, you love building things, this is your lane. Most of my money today is being an operator. So that I think you do less deals as an operator, but you make more money than the finder does. Is that fair, McKenna?
I think so. It's more work. It's a more diverse skill set. Like you're going to be doing, if you like wearing a lot of hats, if you like being, a court person one day and on a construction site the next day, and then you're talking to investors the day after that, being an operator is pretty sweet. And you have your hand in every aspect of a deal as an operator. If you truly, I think, want to make this a 30, 40, 50-year business where you're going to leave massive amounts of wealth to your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, being an operator, starting with single-family homes. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you start with that experience. You buy a house, you renovate it, and then you sell it. And that's a whole deal. You've taken it from A to Z. You're the reason it happened. And then you can take that and you can do 3,000 single family homes and be just fine. You can do big buildings and take on giant projects that take 5 years. And it's just one step at a time. And I think any takeaways that we want to bring up real quick for operators, how they get started, what they need to do. Robert?
Yeah. So I have one thought that comes to mind, because anyone who's starting out could start out as a finder, but there are some people that are out there that kind of know that they want to do it a little bit different. They don't want to be just finding it and handing it off to that real estate investor and giving up the lion's share of the profits and the proceeds. They kind of already have it built in their mentality that they can be the operator. And so you don't have to have already done it to be an operator. You can just start there. Like, I think it's fair to say that you can start as a finder with no money and no experience. It's also fair to say the same thing about an operator. You can decide to go and buy a flip with no money and no experience, but you kind of will have this something inside of you that tells you who you are. I think Adon knew he wanted to be an operator more than he wanted to be a wholesale guy. I think when I first started out, I thought I wanted to be a wholesale guy, and I did that for a while. And then I pretty quickly realized that I really wanted to be more than that. I really wanted to do have my hands in it, have more control, make the lion's share of the money. So you can start in either place. It's kind of going to be determined by you and where you feel about yourself right now and in the moment.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a group, we're going to do a breakout group for operators, and you're allowed to be in the finder group and the operator group. You can be everywhere. They'll be on different days or different times at least. And that group is
Alan Damacy.
Alan is going to lead it. He's the dude is just a monster with organization, which is something you need as an operator. And in that group, they're going to focus on best practices. They're going to talk about contractors, contacts, deal underwriting, deal flow, things like that. And you know what? If you are in the operator group, it's probably a good idea to be in the finder group, because the finders are going to get your deals, and then you're going to take the deal from them, right? And you're going to move on, and you're going to do the lion's share of the work. But it all starts there. And so you can see how this is all sort of connected, right? Like the entire real estate process is about to be spoken on this masterclass of all three categories of people.
And the whole entire goal of Apex, and kind of the way that this sort of has evolved sort of quickly over the last few weeks, really was that Emmanuel found a great deal in Rincon, and he was selling it to Aaron, who's also an operator. And Alan and I went and looked at it, and so we put up the EMD, the deposit for Emmanuel. And I've got to spend some time with both of those guys, Alan and Emmanuel. I've spent a lot of time with Aaron as well. And what we witnessed is that the entire kind of deal came together through the group of Apex. You had the finder, brought it to the operator, and then the operator found the funder, and we're going to talk about the funder next. And then they're actually even going out and raising kind of additional money and bringing more people into the fold. And it's just a really cool story that has happened, and that's happening in real time, and that we want to see repeated again and again and again, right? That's how we bring value to everybody. Is, well, I said at the start of it, we have a group of doers here, and so you're going to be a doer if you're an Apex, because we're going to push, pull, and drag you into it. There's no excuse, guys. Anybody can be a real estate investor, and if you're here, we're going to make sure that you are. So,
and real quick before we go on to investors, guys, if you're an operator, you're going to need contractors. I see Juan Carlos in the room here. He is an engineer. He's currently bidding out some jobs. If you have a renovation that you're trying to get a bid on, send Juan Carlos a message. He's in the chat here. Just tell him that you're interested, and let's go on.
Yeah. What are the takeaways for the operators?
Be organized.
You make good money.
You make great money. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of satisfaction in it. If I could give you the takeaway that I get from it, is that there's just immense satisfaction in completing a project. I even like it when I complete the projects and they didn't go well, and then I look back and I'll be like, that kind of sucked in the moment, but at the end I finished it, I got it done, and I feel really good about that. So
I feel that way about our Kingswood property. We didn't make very much money on it.
We did a hell of a renovation.
We took over. Great deal when we bought it. We spent way too much on the renovation. We didn't crush it on our return. But man, guys, when you look at the before and after, it feels so good. I show those pictures to everyone. I don't tell them how much money I made, but I show them the pictures. I'm like,
the other thing is we set the market
Rita
in the neighborhood, McKenna. We sold that house for the highest price point of any house in the neighborhood at the time. And I don't think anybody sold anything in there for more yet. So I think that'll happen once the market turns around to good again. But all right, so now we move on to funders.
Yes.
I mean, you guys probably imagine, you know what that is the person with the capital or access to capital. They want passive income. They want security. They like to use leverage maybe, but they don't want to necessarily be finding the deals or managing the deals. So, and as I get older and older, as much as I love being an operator and as much as I liked being a finder, I find that I'm ready to put my money to work as hard as I work. And I really kind of enjoy that too. So I'm doing that like in real time. I just closed on one a week ago with TJ, who's a wholesaler, and he's doing all of the heavy lifting. He found it and he's going to operate it. And all I'm doing is putting in some money. And the truth is, I didn't even put in the money in this case. I just have access to it. So that's something that I said, can you be a funder and not have a whole bunch of money in the bank account? You can, if you find great deals. So I did in this case. We're putting in about $110,000 into this recent project, and I got the money from a good friend of mine who I've done 300 or 400 deals with. So, but we're making a pretty passive income on that.
Well, and that's where that access to capital really comes in. I mean, I think people don't realize how much capital is in their network. If they really were to go out with a deal in hand, firm numbers, and tell the people in their lives what they have, you will be surprised. Like, so just remember that being a funder just means access to capital. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your capital. Though I will say traditionally, I think being a funder with your own capital is a pretty good place to be. Obviously, there's a huge prerequisite there of you need to have capital.
You got to have some money.
You got to have some money. But once you do have it, it puts you in just the driver's seat. I mean, you're able to pick and choose. The world is your oyster. You get the best deals. And I think that it's where we should all aspire to be, right? Like, that's the reason we are being finders. That's the reason we are being operators, so that one day you get to the part where it's not you working, but it's your money working for you. And you get to go to the beach in Maui if you're interested in that. Or if you're like my dad, you get to just buy bigger projects and work yourself as much as you want until you drop. And you know what? If that's fun for you, that's great.
Thanks.
I'm probably going to go to Europe and Asia and travel a lot and let my money work for me. But I'll tell you what, if you are a finder, an operator, and a funder, if you're the triple threat, the triple crown, you're going to be a billionaire. You'll do just fine.
You can be a billionaire if you want to be a billionaire, but
if you want to be, yeah.
My good friend Jeff Murphy says, "Why make billions when you can make millions?"
Yeah,
and he lives a pretty good life, and everything he touches turns to gold. Some of the skill sets that you're going to have as a funder: raising private money, using retirement funds or HELOCs or credit, structuring creative finance or equity splits, doing due diligence on operators and deals. I mean, this is going to be big, right? Like,
that's probably the biggest.
If you've got some money, what's the most important thing? It's not to lose the money. That's like the thing. I've got a nest egg, and I do not want to lose that nest egg. And believe me, the bigger the nest egg gets, the less risk that I'm going to take. So over time, I've gone from being willing to put my money in some pretty risky things to now I'm extremely risk averse. And I think about things like, how bad does it go if it goes bad? How do I get my hands back on the property? So as a funder, you want to set yourself up so that you can have some peace of mind at night. Make sure you're in a first mortgage position. So when we're talking about funding, I want to be in a first mortgage position most of the time, especially if I'm going to be the lion's share of the money. If I am in the second position, which I will do, because right now we are in love with buying properties where we get seller financing at 0% interest or really low interest rates. And so I'll allow that money to be in a first position above my money, because I know that if the deal goes wrong, I'll step into the operator's shoes and take over that debt, right? So, but setting yourself up so that you have security is super important. Not losing your money is the most important. So doing good due diligence on operators and on deals, super important part of your skill set. Building a diversified real estate portfolio, and I agree with that. Like, I have rental properties, we do seller finance deals, I do hard money lending. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ways that I become a funder. And yeah, it's what McKenna said. I think over the next 20 years, I'm going to look to have my money work as hard as I've been working for the last 20 years, right? And so if that's you, you probably want to be a funder. And here's some other people that would probably want to be funders. You've done really well with your W-2 job, and you've built up a 401k or an IRA, and you can turn those into self-directed, or you just have such a good job that you've got a whole bunch of cash in the bank and you don't really have the time. Maybe you're a doctor, a lawyer, or some high-powered corporate guy. You don't really have the time to go out and find it and operate it. But if you can put your money into real estate safely and get nice high returns with upside, that's amazing, right? And so I want you to start thinking about, as we're going to get close to where we're going to answer questions, where do you fit? Kind of, I've seen a couple of people put in the chat that they're going to be finders. Who's an operator? Who's a funder? And start to identify. And maybe you're all three. I'm all three, guys. I'm a finder, an operator, and I'm definitely a funder at this point. Anything else we need to say about this before we open it up to questions?
Yeah, action steps. We are also going to have a third breakout group for funders. This one is not open to everyone. There's going to be an assessment, a criteria. To be in the group, you need to have liquid assets ready to invest. Not with us, not with anybody, but you just need to demonstrate the ability to be a funder. And the reason we're doing that is we don't want this group to turn into 5 funders and then 25 operators that are pitching deals
pitching the funders all the time.
Exactly. We want this funder group to be talking about best strategies, due diligence, things like that. So there will be a link on the Apex page if you want to be a part of that group. There is kind of a little questionnaire you need to fill out. You're going to hop on a call with me, Robert, and Adon. So if you think that you qualify to be in that group, we'd love to have you. And that will be probably a bi-weekly meeting. And the goal is just to, again, talk about best practices. There's not going to be any pitching. Pitching's not going to be allowed in that group, in that meeting. Obviously, you can do whatever you want with your friends, but
yeah, we're gonna talk about how we're funding deals, how we stay safe. I have a couple of bullet points that I want to finish up before we open it up to questions. You don't need to be rich to be a funder. Some people just have a natural ability. Like some people have a natural ability to find deals. Other people have a natural ability to find money or to convince people to give them money for projects. And so you can be a funder and you don't have to be wealthy. This is also the most passive role. So it's the one that gets closest to passive income. It's also first money in, first money out, generally speaking. So even if I'm doing a second mortgage, I'm getting my money out before the operator does. So first money in, first money out. And right now there are Apex members that probably have 100K that is sitting in a retirement account and that's not really doing anything. And their money could be making double-digit returns, maybe even better than that with making some points, and possibly you fund in a way that you get equity plus an interest rate. So there's a lot of ways that you can make money as a funder. It's first in, first out. It's very secure. It's the most passive. So those are the takeaways from that. How to make the money. You make the money on interest or on private loans, equity stakes and flips, or rentals or developments. Like I've done this path where I go to my funder who puts up all of the money, and the money gets half and I get half for doing the work. Adon and I are doing that with people in Apex going to the foreclosure sale, where somebody's coming to the table with some money. We're going to go find a great deal. We're going to buy it and fix it up and then sell it.
With every deal we've done.
Every deal we've done. We like that. We like this 50-50 deal where the money gets half and the guys who do the work gets half. So, all right, with that, let's open it up for questions.
Let's do it.
So, guys, if you want to join the questions here, if you're on the webinar, just send the message on the chat and I'll invite you into the group. So just keep that in mind. We got Nancy, we got Mike, we got Juan Carlos, Ivan, and Jasmine somewhere. So we'll start with Nancy and we'll go from there.
Hey, Nancy.
Hello.
How are you, Nancy? Good to see you again.
Thank you. I was hoping I'd get to see you before.
You just were on the island and we didn't connect, right?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
No.
Adon got sick and then we we didn't make it.
Yeah.
So where are you now?
I'm in Florida,
Okay, what part of Florida?
Port St. Lucie.
I love Port St. Lucie. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your question?
So I'm an investor, and I went to look for multifamily, and I just don't know enough about, I guess, the Apex to say that I could have, you know, gotten help with funding. So I'm just wondering a little more about how it all works. I have, pre-approval, but I didn't have down payment enough.
Oh,
Enough.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
So you have a property identified, and you're able to get a loan, but you need help with the EMD or with the deposit. I mean,
Well,
you know, I mean, the down
kind
payment.
of somewhat like that. I mean, I saw a few because I had my, of course, they always ask for that pre-approval letter. And I saw a few properties, but because I didn't have enough down payment, I just let them go. So
What kind of mortgage are you qualified for? To what point? To what level? 100,000, 200,000, 300,000?
up to 3.
Up to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for more like 2. And yeah. So I'm back in the States now. So I don't know how else to find, other than I've talked to Emmanuel a few times about properties, and I was looking on the northeastern side. So that's
Eastern side, like Fajardo?
no north edge of Manatee to Carolina.
Manatee to Carolina. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Central North Coast out to Carolina.
West.
Got it.
Yeah, and like maybe a 3 to 4 unit.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
would you be willing to partner with somebody and put your loan up?
Yeah, I
So
can do
so we
that.
find if somebody finds a great deal and you can get the loan, let's say it's a conventional loan and you need 20% down or something, someone else could come with the down payment. You guys buy the property together, and of course you pay the mortgage first, and then you share in the profits above
Cash
that.
flow. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
That's a deal structure that doesn't get talked about very much,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's certainly viable, and definitely there are people in Apex that would be interested in doing that. Apex is a great place to network with people. So I don't know if you've been able to meet and connect with anybody else who's in Apex, but maybe make a post in there, and you will have some people that reach out that are interested. In fact, we can ask the question here, if you guys will, just in the comments, who would be interested in a scenario like that? And I'll raise my hand right away. So we could probably maybe find something together, because getting 30-year money at a good interest rate is very attractive on a multifamily. It certainly makes it easier. Again, I just said a minute ago that I'm buying those kind of properties where I'm giving away half of the money to the person who brings the money. But if the bank brings the money at 7%, and then we're sharing the profits, it would work like that as well too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So with a deal like that and having a partner, how does that work out for? It would just be sharing the profits at the end after mortgage.
So you'd basically, you guys would find a project that you like to do together. You'd get the loan from the bank, and someone else would put in the cash that's needed. So you'd have cash to close, you'd have closing costs, all of that. So someone would come to the table with the cash. And in this case, if it's a $200,000 home, maybe they have to come to the table with 40 grand, 50 grand, something like that. And you'd want to pay that loan first and then share the profits above what the loan costs. Eventually, when you sell, you pay off the loan and you pay back the person who put in the money, and then you share the profits.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm sure I'll have more questions, but I have to think about it.
Think about it and come back in. Just raise your hand and we'll bring you back up.
Okay. Thank you.
See you, Nancy.
We don't
Who's
have a lot
next,
of people
Adnan?
watching on YouTube, but if you're on YouTube and you're watching and you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like.
Hey,
Hey,
Mike.
Mike. Hey, buddy. How are you? Mike?
There we go.
There he is.
Hey.
Getting used to StreamYard.
Yeah, we are too. This is our first time doing it this way.
Very cool.
Hopefully it works out.
What's
happening
going on?
tonight? What's going on?
Well, we're coming in April 22nd, and I had just texted McKenna. I'd be interested if anybody wants to participate in a breakout session on starting or building or growing the retirement account.
Yes.
You know, that's my daughter laughs at me, like my father is like insane about self-directed IRAs.
But they're such a useful tool, right? Like they're
You know how to use
incredible.
it, right?
Are self-directed IRAs used on the island of Puerto Rico?
So Puerto Rico
Do
401k
Puerto
or something
Ricans
like that.
use IRAs here? Is that? Do you know, Mike?
There's a
I
product.
do not know.
I don't either.
It's a Puerto
I'll
Rico
find out.
401k.
It's a 401k.
Puerto Rico 401k.
Puerto Rico 401k.
Yeah, because it's not
Okay.
traditional IRA.
Yeah, Mike, I'd love to. I'll participate in your breakout session, and if you want to do that, let's do that. So now we got a fourth breakout session that we're going to be
There we go.
doing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because if you don't get pushed in the right direction, it's like, hey, I'll open that account next month, and then all of a sudden you're 67 years old, like I am. So
And at this point, you'd probably put yourself in the funder category. Is that true? I mean, I know you're an operator as well, but you like the passive stuff.
I don't know if I'd be interested in funding somebody else's deal. But we'll talk about that. But but yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll make a post, and then Mike, can we do that in the next week or two?
Yeah, we'll collaborate. We'll get together. And
So guys, be on the lookout from a post either from me or Mike or both of
And
us.
Mike, are you coming to stay in the little house in Rincon?
so yeah, I'll talk to you about that off air because we plan on doing the whole island.
Okay.
And we're coming in for 14 or 15 days. And I don't know, we're landing in San Juan, and we're going to spend some time at that area because we've done zero time over there.
Okay.
Our tax expert Alan says that Puerto Rico does have self-directed IRAs, but they have different rules, and it's possible to have one that is compliant with both.
Nice.
I will look into that.
If you need a place in San Juan too, let me know. I've got some loft apartments in Santurce, really good part of town.
Oh, cool.
Be a nice place to camp out for a portion of your time.
Definitely interested in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're itching. My wife is already packed. It's like, come on.
I
love it.
She's like, well, I want to practice. I'm like, come on. What are you, 12 years old again? Practice walking to school, with the encyclopedias.
That's great. That's great. So you want to maybe call me tomorrow?
Absolutely. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
All right, bud. Thanks.
Guys.
See you, Mike.
Thanks, Phil.
Bye, Mike.
Hey, Juan.
Hey, there he is.
I think you're on mute.
Unmute.
You gotta unmute, Juan Carlos.
So you're able to unmute one? There you go.
There you go.
What's going on, Juan Carlos? Give us your questions.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah, no. All right, yeah. So hi, thanks for having me on, and again, just wanted to appreciate the opportunity. My question would probably be geared more towards thank God we've had opportunity to talk and some quotes that have been presented in terms of projects that you guys are working on. Since there is sort of a transition into this whole house flipping method, there's a distinction between like the short-term need and then there's the long-term deals being closed and actually making the profit. And I guess like having that balance in the impression is that they might be a little slow, not because they are slow objectively, but in at least in my case that I'm still transitioning. What do you guys recommend in terms of the wait until the projects close and that you actually complete the deals and all that kind of thing? What would you say for a contractor that wants to get in, but is still struggling in the short term?
Like, how do you eat? That's what you're asking, right? Like, how do you pay the bills and put food on the table?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Because real estate, I was we were working, and this probably might be just my case specifically, but being in the industry and then sort of taking the leap to contracting and now looking at real estate as something that we could get into.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a couple thoughts on that, and maybe McKenna and Adon will as well.
Work on the projects that we have, but at the same time, sorry.
I think you're on a delay. Try and refresh your stream one.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of disconnect there.
We're going to bring him back up in just a second.
What happened?
He's refreshing. I think that he was 5 seconds behind us.
I think so too.
Well, let's bring him back up in just a second, Adon.
We'll talk to Jasmine and then we'll go back to him. Hi there. Are you muted? Unmute.
I don't think so.
No, there you are. How are
Can you hear me?
Jasmine? Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you guys were talking about a list. Oh, first of all, Robert, thank you for connecting me with Adán and Manuel. And Mr. Crager, I think you're next for me to talk to.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so my thing is about building relationships. Without relationships, you don't get nowhere, right? Closed mouth does not get fed. So my thing was, I'm sorry, my dog is barking. Fendi, come here. I started making my own list already. So I have a lot of family in Puerto Rico. And one of my cousins is a what's the word? She's an appraiser, property appraiser. And she tells me that when she goes out to appraise these properties, most of them are people that are trying to get either out of their home to sell it, or there are doing projects or whatever. So yesterday I happened to talk to her and I told her, I remember you telling me that there are homeowners that are struggling and want to get rid of their property. She's like, oh my God, there's so many. And I was like, can you give me a list? And she said, yes. So I'm going to start. I'm already on top of it. I just need that list. I'm going to get it in person on the 17th from her. And then just take it from there and just keep building relationships. If I could meet more people in the real estate industry or bankers, anyone that knows about properties that are that homeowners want to get rid of their properties. Yeah.
So how can we help? Are you looking, you have the list. Do you feel like you know what to do with it?
It's pretty much sales, find out what the issue is and then find a solution and then bring it to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any moves without asking the Apex community. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I think
I'm a learner, I'm a doer, so I'm hands-on. That's another thing.
People will be looking for, contracts on this stuff, right? So when you call your list, getting it under contract or at least with agreed upon terms creates a very powerful position for you. And that's what you should be aiming for if you're not already. I think it sounds like you are. But yeah, lock up these properties, get a good deal under contract, have, an inspection period where you're able to cancel, create some safety for you. And then that's when you want to bring it to the group. When you have the contract and you can say, here's a deal, guys, who wants it? And then boom. So if you're looking to be a finder and you want to do that multiple times a month, that is the most powerful position you can be, is locked up with a contract.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, that's
I just need to make sure I'm asking the right questions to the homeowners.
Okay.
So
What
I
questions do you need to ask the homeowners?
I mean
The
I don't
questions
care
are
what.
these.
Uh-huh.
Do
Go
you
for
want to
it.
sell, homeowner? Yes. What's your price? Your price is too high. We can do it for this price, and I can get you someone hopefully in 30 days. That's the
Okay.
question.
It's simple, basic, right? Okay.
And the easiest way that you can underwrite this stuff too, like instead of asking homeowners, what's the roof like? What's the AC like? What's the floor
Mhm.
like? Nobody knows. Homeowners don't know. Just assume you
But
need
do
to
we even
replace.
care about that? That's why I was kind of like,
We do not.
no,
Just
I
assume
don't.
you need to
I
replace
wouldn't.
everything and then bake that into your price.
Okay.
So then you just need to know, and you got to build a relationship with people. You know, you can't
Right.
just call people and say, "I'll give you this much money for your house." Everyone's going to hang
Mhm.
up on you. But it's build the relationship, give them a price. There's not really much you need to know from the seller beyond, do you want to sell? Are we
Yes or
able to
no.
do some terms,
Okay.
some seller financing?
Hmm.
Here's an offer, and then you're just negotiating an offer at that point.
Okay.
And so, Jasmine, I think the breakout group with Emmanuel will be super powerful for you because he's going to be talking about what kind of offers to submit. And you can either submit a cash offer or you can submit multiple offers, right? You could submit a lowball cash offer or an anchor price and then
Mhm.
find motivation and turn it into a seller finance deal. I think that
Mhm.
would be a really good way to find some great deals as well. So if you can get some seller finance properties with really good terms, it can be great. Or if you can find something that needs a bunch of work and you're just buying it at the bottom of the market because it needs all of that value add. And
Mhm.
either scenario, we have people in the group that would like to talk to you about those deals when you find them. And then aren't you looking for a multifamily for yourself? Did I hear that?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
a
Yes. I
hairdresser and you want to,
eventually. Yes, I'm so
you know,
tired of living in the city. Things are getting super expensive. I keep my family owns properties, buildings, right? So since I could read and write, I've been managing all my grandmother's properties. And I felt like I've been waiting for the opportunity to do me, but I'm always trying to fix those issues with her or her properties, finding tenants, eviction, um maybe something happened with the bank and I gotta go and fix it. I gotta freeze some taxes. I gotta run to city hall. Like I'm always doing things for her, right? So it's time to put me first.
she's probably taught you to be a pretty good operator. It
Yeah.
Yes.
sounds
And
like.
I want to be all of that. I want to collect the rent. I want to, if I have to put a flooring down, I'm that girl. If I
All
have to
right.
paint, I'm her. I'm a doer, I'm a delegator. I don't like to work 9 to 5. I'm my own boss. I've been my own boss. I've owned so many different businesses. I've sold many. So yeah, I mean, I'm just ready to go to the island. And I did hear you might have an apartment maybe I can rent from you, Mr. Robert. Like that,
I
I'm
do.
not renting. I'm not in
Couple.
hotels or resorts, right? They get kind of pricey after a while. So I originally wanted to stay in Puerto Rico for 3 weeks because I made flyers. I made business cards. I'm gonna be hola. Do you need some
I
help?
love it. Knocking
Yeah,
on
that's
doors.
gonna be me because like I said, I'm a doer. I work really hard. I don't
You see the
believe in
chat,
not
McKenna?
working hard, so Cindy,
Well,
stop.
sweet. Yeah, let us. I think you have told Don when you're coming. We can share a couple of places. We have definitely got places to stay
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. The resorts can get stupid expensive.
Just a little.
So yeah, and
Yeah,
if you're going to be here for a few weeks, maybe you want to hop around the island and see different parts of it. I don't know, but we've got
yeah.
places.
I think I
So
paid what 900 for a week and a half in one of the resorts, and I should have split that and just rented a house for like 2 months, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't, my mind was all over the place because my thing was, okay, I'm tired of the city. I'm ready to move. So I was going to just go buy me a little family home and ship out my car and blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, what am I doing? I have so much passive income here. I need to make passive income out there before I move. So that's my thing. I want to establish my business. I even want a construction company. So
All right.
I
you
like
know,
You're gonna
I'm
kill it here
serious
on
about
that.
this. I'm so
Yeah.
dead serious. I'm 43 years old and I ain't got time. Time is clicking, ticking, whatever. I'm ready. I'm so ready. God has opened doors for me and I'm just ready. I'm so ready.
Amazing.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
We're excited to meet you. We had a
Thank
great
you,
conversation earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
It
I'm
went
excited.
exactly like this.
Yeah. I like this energy.
Yeah, I'm full of energy. I'm all about motivation.
You're going to be just fine. I can tell. You'll come to the island and you're
Yes.
going to be in a deal in 3 weeks.
Man,
I'm sure of it.
I
bro,
think less
3
than
weeks is
that.
way too long, okay?
Way too long. Way too long.
Way
Awesome.
too long. I
All
was
right,
already saying I want to hop on that plane back to Chicago with a contract in hand and say, "Look, Mama, I did it."
Yeah. Let's make that happen. Let's
Yes,
make
I'm
that happen.
excited. I'm excited.
Thanks, Jasmine. I love it. Great to meet you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you so much.
And again, guys, if you have questions throughout this, just throw it in the chat. I'll bring you back up. Okay.
And I apologize how I look. I look crazy. Today was my off day. Today was laundry, cooking and cleaning, kids.
You're all good. You're all good.
Good to
All
All
right,
right,
who's
guys.
coming up
I can't wait. I can't
All
wait.
right. See you in a week or two, right?
Yes. No, next
right.
week.
Next week.
Yes,
right.
Thursday.
Okay. Nice.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you again.
Juan Carlos.
Hey, Juan. Welcome back.
Can you hear us now?
Hopefully you can hear me. I can hear you.
Yeah, we do hear you.
Yeah? All right,
I think
great.
last time there was a delay.
I went ahead and just
Is
wrote.
this better?
I just wrote the thing in the chat, so it might. Hopefully, it'll be easier.
I would say if you got a 9 to 5 and you can find a way to do this real estate thing, then that's the way to do it until it starts picking up.
So Juan Carlos
do a
runs
lot of deals.
landscaping business, and he is becoming a contractor. He's an engineer, guys. So he's becoming a contractor. I think there's a ton of synergy, Juan, and how to make short-term money with the long-term goals, right? If you found a deal, I think it's very reasonable to pay yourself as a contractor a fee that you can live on while you're flipping it, as long as the work's getting done. Obviously, if you take the money and you don't do the work, that's no good.
Yep.
But you find a deal, you go raise the money, you take a contracting fee to pay for supplies, pay your guys, pay you as a contractor. I do think as an owner, you owe it to your partners to give them the best deal. You can't price gouge your partners. That's just not right. But you should be able to make short-term money in these projects, and then a longer term, if it's a flip, you can also participate in the upside if you're managing the project. I also think too, if you go quote jobs as a contractor, you can make some pretty fast money doing that now, build up a bit of a nest egg, and then you can start doing projects, this year from that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like everything you said, McKenna. I would add that as a contractor going out and looking at the different projects, you might even find a deal that way, right? So it's not uncommon for people to have problems with contractors anywhere, but on the island of Puerto Rico, it seems to be even more of a problem than it is in other places. So if you're able to do what you say, one, you're going to get all the work that you can stand and that you can take. I really believe that McKenna's right. You can find the great deal, find a funder or a money partner who's passive, and you're able to pay yourself along the way so that you put food on the table. But I would be doing a hefty division of both, right? Like, so you got to you're an entrepreneur, so you have to put food on the table. You've got to be doing the yards. You need to be doing a renovation, and hopefully you try and find a flip or something like that you're participating in as well. But I think you make an excellent operator partner for somebody, because you could you could do the work. You can actually get it done. Where I'm an operator who I mean, other than maybe paint a wall, I'm just not handy enough to get the work done, but I am able to manage a crew. So you've got a better skill set to be managing that contracting side of things than I do. And I'm able to get it done. So you should be fine. Not to mention, again, what I said earlier, there is just a need for your skill set, right? Like, so if you're good at what you do, and you do what you say, you'll have more work than you can manage.
Right. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. I'm actually here with Lesman as well. He's another engineer / contractor and definitely much more experienced in especially the construction side. So we're sort of partnering in this, and we have a pool of resources between like electricians and plumbers. Basically anything's related to residential, we can do it. But it's more like, I don't know what you would say in terms of just like Puerto Rico in general is going through a very hard time, and it's like the economy is just struggling. We're having to sort of cut into the profits of just basic everyday quotes that we send out. A lot of people are rejecting them just because the money's not there. Obviously, in this kind of environment, there's investors, and you sort of secure that money beforehand. That's the whole point of the pitch, right? You don't get into the project until you secure the money. But then, just for the everyday contractor and people that are on other parts, especially outside the metro, the struggle is real. There's especially the Salinas, Guayama area. It's pretty well known to be a really scarce, environment to work from. So I don't know if you have any comments on just that.
Are you doing contracting work for homeowners, like kind of retail stuff? Someone needs their bathroom fixed, you go in and you fix the bathroom, or are you in, obviously you're in a real estate investor community and you're able to get work from real estate investors, but there's a couple different ways to run a contracting business, and probably the most lucrative one is to go renovate houses in Dorado Beach East or go renovate houses in Palmas del Mar. But what have you been seeing? Are you trying to work for a homeowner, or are you hooked in with a bunch of real estate investors who can continually give you work?
Yeah, so that's a great question that you asked, because that exactly highlights sort of the transition itself. We've worked with homeowners basically, this whole time. He's been doing it for years. I'm just doing it now, but it hasn't been. This is the first time where we're realizing, hey, there's this whole community of people who actually do this for a living, and we didn't know about the flip-flop community until now. And that's why we appreciate so much, the outreach program that you have, all the ads on YouTube, that stuff, people are finding out about you. So please know that is effective, and it is very distinct from what general contracting environment, from renovations, tile work, floors, roofs, and all that. But it is very much from a homeowner perspective, who is not necessarily gonna look to cash out of that investment that they're making. And that's sort of one type of contractor that you say, and we're trying to transition to this other type. So that's probably, that goes to the root of the issue, the distinction you just made.
And I think they're very different businesses. Like if you're in there renovating stuff for homeowners, that's a business that it's complete referral. You don't work for someone twice generally. You go in and you do a job and then you move on, and hopefully they give you some referrals. It can be really challenging. You've hooked into a community of real estate investors, and hopefully you might start to work with people again and again and again, and then partnering and maybe even doing some deals together. If you're going to continue down the homeowner route, I would be in Palmas del Mar every day. I mean, so you're probably not where you live. You're not super far from Palmas del Mar, but that's where I would just blanket that freaking place. If I'm just going to work for homeowners, I mean, you might as well work for the
rich
more well-off people and just hit them in the mouth, hit them as hard as you can.
Yeah, a new bathroom for
financial advice.
$45,000. I
But guys-
think that, well, and we can already see here, Yamelith, I think that's how you say it. Sorry that I'm butchering your name. She's asking what area of Puerto Rico are you in? Aaron here also wants to chat with you tomorrow.
Let's bring
about
Aaron
his
up.
deal. Hey, Aaron.
Hello. I
Aaron.
lost my voice.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a.
As long as you didn't lose the plane ticket to get here to go look at your
Yeah.
deal.
No, I know. I won't be there this weekend. Steve will be there on Saturday. We're probably going to end up coming back again around Easter and then again around May, to close. So, but yeah, Juan, I certainly want to talk to you. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. Hopefully my voice will be a little bit better. But I was wondering, since you were right here, what's your availability this Sunday, Monday, maybe one or the other?
Sure. I mean, we can set something up probably more Monday than Sunday, but definitely, this is and we've talked before. I've met Aaron, and that's part of the value in this community. That there's people here that can reach out, and I know everyone's like really doing their best to get deals closed. So that's sort of the nature of the questions. There are people at different levels, people that have probably been doing this maybe more than for a longer time. And that's sort of where the question is coming from, at least for us rookies.
Look, the perfect deal doesn't exist, but once you get the first one, like McKenna was saying, it just opens the floodgates. So just get the first one done. If you do
I'm not
$1,
sure I understood what the question was, though. What was the question?
he's saying there's different levels to the game, and there is, but just get the first one done, and you'll see that everything just matches up, and you'll start finding out where you fall into the pieces, and then you can come to Robert and say, "Look, I got this deal. Can you help me find the money, or do you have the money, or do you have an operator, or do you have someone a contractor?"
Juan Carlos, do you see yourself more as a guy who you want to do a buy, fix, and sell, right? You want to do like fix and flips? Is that kind of where you see yourself going with it? Yeah, I think.
Sure.
I think you fit
we started.
I think you fit that mold of someone who would make an excellent partner. Like, I mean, you have the ability to take the project from the start to the finish. Now all you got to do is find a deal that works. And I know a little bit about you. I would be looking for an inexpensive house that needs a good bit of work, and then get it fixed up and sold. And like Adon said, once you've done it once, it'll start to click for you. Did we lose him? No,
we also brought on Yamelis. She has to come up and speak to Juan.
Hi, Yamelis. You want to speak to Juan?
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm excited to be in a community of investors. This is like the first time that I actually go into a paid community. I've just been like browsing for years and never really took any action. I just purchased a property, and I need to renovate an apartment. It's a 2-story house. There's one apartment on like the basement story, which is like the first floor, but and it has a space that fits multiple vehicles that I want to close off and turn into an apartment. The previous owner still is living there. I gave him a few months to leave. And so in order for me to cash flow on this property, I need to renovate the apartment that is on the basement story, and I need to close in the two the car space so that I can make a 2-bedroom apartment there. This wasn't really an excellent deal, but it was right next to a lot that I own. So definitely I need somebody that can do that work for me. Do you work in the West Coast?
Yes, he does.
Okay, what?
How about you reach out to him
He
on?
has a hammer and will travel,
So,
I
I
think
mean-
is the answer.
I also have an Airbnb where you guys would be able to stay. If you could like knock it out for me fast, that would be awesome. Once I get possession of the home, which I still don't have.
So what about
But
if you guys reach out to each other in school and get in touch and figure out, start getting quotes and all that stuff?
and what is your name?
Juan Carlos lives in Salinas, so he is on the west side, so he can.
I was in Salinas today at SATSE at the doctor place inside of the Albergue Olímpico.
Nice.
I went to
Perfect.
that school when I was an athlete back in the days. But anyway,
good.
I just wanted to say hi to the community. Also, I am interested in the investor part where you're like more hands off and just like.
Awesome. I'm
You know.
gonna reach out to you.
Oh, I
on
want to talk to
school.
you.
I'm gonna reach out to you on school, and we'll connect, and I'll get you in
Okay.
that group. All right.
Well, I
Thanks very
appreciate
much.
you
Nice
guys.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
All right.
Guys.
Awesome.
Awesome, Juan Carlos.
See
There you
there,
go.
Juan Carlos. I told you, your skill set is needed. You're going to be extremely popular here
You
on
will
the
be
island.
popular. Already
You're
in the
gonna be the
chat.
pretty
we've had
girl at
4 or 5
prom.
people.
Just do what you say when get it done. And the beautiful thing about working with real estate investors is you're going to have work again and again and again, right? Till you get tired of each other, and then you'll go your
Juan,
separate ways.
there's only one other thing I wanted to say. You mentioned earlier, it's a tough economic time for Puerto Rico. When you're working for investors, you need to price for yourself. You need to figure out how much it's going to cost you, and then you need to factor in how much you need to make. And it is up to the operator to have factored that in when they bought the project, right? You don't need to bend over backwards for an operator. You just need to tell them an honest price that you make money, your crew makes money. It doesn't need to be outrageous, whatever it is. But that's up to them, right? It's not, if you're not in the ownership, your responsibility is to do right by you and your crew and to give a fair price. And the operator is supposed to have factored that in. So I see people do this when they're making offers to buy real estate, that they worry so much about what the seller has to get. Just give your honest price.
Yeah, I do think that there's a difference between working in the retail in Palmas del Mar, Dorado Beach East, or Rincon, but McKenna's right. You have to make a living, and so you have to price in at a wage that you're going to be able to pay your guys, get it done in a timely fashion, and still make yourself some money. So, yeah, be careful. Contracting's a difficult job. It's a difficult business to get good at, but if you get good at it, man, some of my good contractor friends, they just print money constantly. So you're again, do what you say, do a reasonably good job, show up when you say you're going to show up. You're going to be it's a very popular business. And despite all of the stuff that's going on in the island where you're saying that there's a difficulty in the economy, and I agree that there's a portion of the economy that is going to back you. And I think you found it here with real estate investors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening, tracking everything you're saying, and I really appreciate taking the time, and just wanted to present again Les Mis as well, and we're here, we want to work. There's a lot of people on the island that feel that way. They want to work. A lot of people leave the island just because they can't make ends meet, and I feel like the responsibility is in our hands to make it work.
There's work if you want it. We got a whole lot of work if you want it. In fact, I sent you the drawings you needed. I need that quote so you can work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want it. The landscaping. in San Ignacio.
Yeah.
And when are you gonna give me a quote for Aguadilla? I need that.
Yeah, I was hoping
tomorrow.
to knock them both before the end of the week. So tomorrow you should be seeing
Also, the end of the week. In fact, the end of the week is today. That's
Well,
it.
just remember us and do our quotes first, because you're about to get like 45 people reach out to you. So
Yeah, everybody's going to want to talk to you. So make a post in Apex and
Yes.
tell people who you are, where you are, what you want to do,
and how they can
everybody's
contact
going to
you.
reach out to you. Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty.
All
All right,
right.
Juan Carlos, we're moving on. Thank you for your questions. If you got more, let
God
me know.
bless.
Well, and guys, before we move on to our next questions, is this the time of the stream where we take it private just for the Apex?
I think we
viewers?
should. Yeah, that's this, guys. If you've been watching on YouTube, and I know there were only 15 or 16 people watching on YouTube most of this time.
We got
If you
25
like
right
what
now.
you see and you want to be a part of Apex, there is a link somewhere in the chat here, McKenna, or something for them.
Yes.
And you guys can feel free to come and join us right now by just clicking that link.
We're going to continue this conversation for another hour. We've got a lot more questions here in the chat. We've got 6 or 7 people that we're about to bring up. We'd love to have you. And we just wanted to show the world what we're doing week in, week out. We'll probably try and do these live streams again in the future. But if you want to do this, if you want to be in real estate, if you're serious about it, join Apex, come onto the call right now. And hope to see you guys here on the call.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you for Monday Night Live next week.